hello there and welcome to the channel. It is August, and as we do every month, we are about to do our exotic garden August walk around. So let's see what's going on in the garden. So let's start by being honest with ourselves. It was a cold, wet spring followed by a cool, wet summer, and it's only in the last week or so we've actually started to get a decent amount of sun and heat. So the weather today is absolutely lovely, but the plants on display, they're not doing as well as last year. Take a look at this poor fella. Somewhere under here is a really lovely selected dahlia seedling, and past few years this has been really good. It grows to about 2.5 meters tall with lovely single red blooms, but look at it, it's barely got out of the box. I know it had a rough start because the slugs were taking the new growth as it emerged, but really this is pretty pathetic. But everything around it has actually gotten very big, so there probably is an issue with being overshaded. So what I'll probably do is make a little clearing so some light can get in, and hopefully we'll get some more flowers this year, because really I do want it to look good for next year too, but it's we did almost lose it this year. What can you do about it? We do have this Cephalocereus senilis, which is a little bit of an unfortunate name for it, but look at that. This is you can just see there's a bulge here. So this is all this year's new growth. That's not bad, is it? And it's an absolutely lovely plant. Just don't touch it. Again, we had no problems at all so far this summer with the box caterpillar, moth caterpillar. No problem at all. Actually, I probably need to trim some of that. Did a little bit of a bowl here, a little promotional bowl that we're going to do for a show. So hopefully that'll do well. Just got to plant that little thing in it. And to be honest with you, this is a bit frustrating. This is a spider lily. Now, we did see some spider lilies in flower when we were away last week, and so by rights these should be in flower in the next couple of weeks, but there's absolutely no bud showing on any of these. It's a bit disappointing because they didn't flower last year either. Oh, and can I just show you this, the old cycad? There's a little bit of movement on this now, finally, flipping beginning of August. Check this out. See that, these central tufts in here? You see that there? They're just starting to swell up and start putting on some size. So hopefully in the next few weeks we'll start to see the emergence of our brand new foliage for the year. This Brugmansia has put on a really good show this year. It's been in flower for about 5 weeks now, and although it's got masses of bud, there aren't any flowers on it at the moment. There's a reason for that. While we were away last week, it got very hot and these dried out. Now they have recovered quite well, they look absolutely fine now, but it kind of put a stop to their flowering. But give it another couple of weeks and this will be back in bloom again. Look amazing. Giant leafed hosta is still looking good. There's had plenty of water, but when we get to the end of the year, it does start to scorch in these larger leaves. The alocasia here, finally now the temperature's warmed up, it started to put out its new growth. And if you look carefully, you can see a little flower. Look at that lovely little thing. You see, you tell what this is an aeroid. We had a bit of a gap here at the beginning of the season where we took out some plants and then we replaced them, and of course it wasn't warm enough and not much has grown, but finally starting to grow here. And can you see this this old fence that we had, which is horrible, it's been horrible for years. We painted it blue, and now finally plants are beginning to hide it and give a really nice mature display. The Sorbus aucuparia here, common name rowan, it's done another really good display with the berries, but if you look a bit closer there is a bit of a problem, and it's the same problem we had last year. I don't know if you can see it, but the leaves are already starting to turn brown. It's already starting to drop its leaves, so the canopy, it really isn't as thick as it ought to be, and it won't be long before all that foliage is dropped, probably another 4 to 6 weeks, and we've got a bare rowan again to go into the autumn. I don't know why. I mean, it's plant seems healthy enough otherwise. Tetrapanix papyrifa is doing a really good display in there, and just behind it you can see one of our more tender cannas here. This is a musifolia meaning banana leaf, which it's not quite showing at the moment, but it is growing fine. I do just need to be aware that these massive leaves do shade out a lot of plants, so we're forever removing them to get some light back in it. So that's another one that's going to have to come off. This lovely Fatsia spider's web. One of my favourite plants for a shady position. Now we planted it next to this willow tree. Willow trees are notorious for taking out huge amounts of water. Just make sure that this gets watered because it's in direct competition with the willow roots underneath. But on the whole, you know what, this border is not looking too bad. And even my favourite hardy fuchsia has come into flower. This is Delta Sarah, absolutely gorgeous. Planted it last year. Put on some good size as well. Look at that, lovely. My favourite Canna Cleopatra, just about the kind of flower. I love that very much. Just be aware, if you've got camellias in the garden over the summer, during periods of drought, make sure these get watered because they do have their buds on. That's your flower bud for, well, not that big one, that one there, that's your flower bud for next year. So forget to water it, and this example behind me is below another tree, so it's got to compete for moisture with that tree. Forget to water that over the summer during periods of drought, there's a good chance you'll lose a lot of those buds come the spring, so no flowering display whatsoever for you if you get that wrong. Hold on, I just want to interrupt this broadcast with some important news. If you are finding this video interesting, or at the very least amusing, then consider pressing the like button. That way YouTube can help other people looking for this information to find this video. And if you want to support this video further, you can just by subscribing. It's absolutely free. If you want to find out whenever we publish a new video, then click on that notification bell. Anyway, I'll let old Boil Butt continue talking. There you go. Tree lilies are out in flower. It is a tree lily despite being about 2 foot tall, but hopefully next year that'll be bigger. The glory lilies, I love those, they're in flower too. So easy to look after. You can check out our other videos how to grow these. We've had these year after year after year. Absolutely superb. And this is interesting. We've got some calla lilies here. If you check on the ground, we've got calla lily seedlings. So this is naturalised. Look at that, really interesting. And what's more, calla lilies are not considered hardy, yet we've had our plants out here for the past 2 years. Last year, -5 degrees Celsius. Previous year, -7 to -8 degrees Celsius. And each time they've come back, I mean, the one we've got over here looks brilliant. Sort of coming to the end of flowering, but look at these. You know, it's got quite a big clump here now, and they're really lovely. You can see the, can you feel them? Yeah, you can feel the new seed pods inside. They're all quite tough in there now. Now the sunflowers are starting to come into flower. It's only a small one. It's just a regular sunflower, but the one next to it, this is actually a giant-headed sunflower. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully that will be out in the next, again, 4 to 6 weeks. Salvias are doing a good job looking after the pollinators as well as the dahlias. Got a bit of problem with the apple tree. See that? Very heavily laden with apples, and all the ones that are up on the tree right now generally start coming down, and we've had a bit of damage on some of our plants. This one's got knocked over since yesterday. It's part and parcel of having an apple tree this big in the garden, but not much you can do about it. You just have to take the losses on this one. Yeah, what's happened to my plant? This is my Fuchsia boliviensis. It's a tough old bird and come back last year, but there's something horrible going on there. Now it's not in flower, so don't not in flower, not even likely to be flower soon. So I can give that a spray of insecticide, and then that won't hurt any pollinating insects that come, because there's nothing to actually produce any pollen on this. But oh, that didn't happen last year. The old trailing plants in the trees looking good. This is the Bolivian forest cactus. It's flowered this year and it's just starting to put a bit of fruit on, but it's definitely put on some real size, as has this spider plant. Look at that. That's really attractive. I do like that. The old hardy banana plant, Musabashi, that's been doing very well. So well, in fact, this year that it's actually flowered and is still producing its bananas. Lovely little thing that. That's a King Humboldt, or Red King Humboldt, I think it is. Again, not completely hardy in some people's minds, but do you know what? That might even flower this year. It's doing really well. And after a slow start last year, when they went in last year at the beginning of the season, the old tree Dahlia imperialis has really started to put on some height now. So the problem with is it's fantastic. If you look at it as an architectural foliage plant, then you have no problems with it at all. If you expect it to flower, they do flower right at the end of the season. Now, I've never had one actually come into flower without immediately being hit by a hard frost, so that's always very disappointing. But do you know what? These bigger specimens, when they get like 3, 4, possibly taller, they're so high you can see those flowers because they're only tiny little pink things. But as a structural plant, brilliant. After emerging in the spring and then rotting back shortly after, the brunneras have come back for a second time, and although there's a bit of damage on that leaf there, on the whole they are looking really good. And again, it's one of my favourite plants for a shady border. And this lovely thing here, this is the Musella lasiocarpa, part of the banana family. You can tell by the leaf, and has absolutely bizarre big yellow lotus looking flower. Unfortunately, we're not going to see that for a few more years. It normally takes 3 to 4 years before they get to a decent size where they can flower. And year before, it really struggled with that -7, -8 degrees, but it did survive. It has come back this year, so it's still going to be 3 years at least before I start to see a bloom on this. But when that does, it's going to be flipping awesome. Two of my favourite salvias are just starting to bloom. This is Garanitica, black and blue. You got that black calyx and the blue flowering structure there. I think that's really lovely. Although we argue whether that's blue or purple. And you got this one here. That's its name's escaping me, but we'll put it underneath. And I'm waiting for this to open up because it's a massive bud. Problem is, it can't support itself. It's a hybrid. It snaps ever so easily, so what we've got it growing within the other plants, and those other plants give it the support it needs to get up here. We've also planted some Ricinus communis impala, and although they are all growing, none of them have put the size on as we had last year. But I tell you what, they are producing the flowers, they are producing the seed, and last year these produced viable seed and they re-germinated. So when you consider -5 degrees last year, that brings Ricinus communis into a category of a hardy annual. But we'll see. I'm going to leave all the seeds out. I collected them last year, but this year I'm going to leave them all on, let them drop, see if they germinate again this year. Be interesting, despite being deadly poisonous. The Dahlia Bishop of Llandaff, that's doing well. I just love how shiny these blooms are against that back foliage. And we grew a load of African marigolds from seed last year, although obviously not from Africa, but it's just a common name we have here. But look at these flowers, they're absolutely amazing. So there you have it, that's what's going on in our August exotic garden. It's all a little bit behind really, and we don't have the impressive displays, massive plants, big leaves that we got last year, but it still looks fine. It has moved on a wee bit. Hopefully next year will be better. Anyway, got anything you'd like to add? You're more than welcome to do so. Just put that in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Right, now, just before you go, if you want to see more content, more behind the scenes stuff, and images that I've taken of some weird freaky plants over the years, then you're in luck, because we've created an Instagram page. So you can find the link in our description. You can find the link on our main page, and if I'm clever enough, I might be able to get a link somewhere up there. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you want to see more YouTube stuff, then check out this video here. That's quite a good one. And if it doesn't float your boat, then another one right there. And enjoy these while I still got the strength, imagination and aptitude to make them. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.